Do you like slot machines? Have you ever wanted to use a slot machine as a battle mechanic? Do you want those slot machine battle mechanics to be tied to a roguelike experience? Well, you have a very specific wish list, but I've got good news for you. Slots and Daggers was released by Friedman and published by Future Friends Games on October 24th, 2025 for PC. In this game, you're put in front of a slot machine where you get to choose what abilities will come up in the rotations. And you'll use those abilities in order to defeat the enemies that you'll come across in the stages. The battle mechanics are turn-based with an added bit of chance, so you can't just directly select what your action is going to be. You have to roll for it and see what kind of action you can take depending on how many slots you have going, and how many different abilities you have selected that they can turn to, with different abilities having different effects. Some will do flat damage, healing, or give you a certain amount of coins, but some have you perform an action after that ability comes up, like an attack, which has you click at the precise moment to determine how much damage it'll do, or the healing spell, which opens up a book and you need time to circle being filled in order to hit maximum healing. With these abilities, you even have a chance to crit if you hit it just right. There's a ton of different abilities, giving you different things from damage, healing, coins, shield, and even different kinds of attacks, such as magic or physical damage. Once you manage to defeat the monster, you'll have your chance to buy some upgrades for the abilities you have, or get some new ones added to the wheel. There's also usable items you can use whenever it's your turn on the slot machine. These usable items will then upgrade your damage, give you extra spins, or let you change the results of one of your spins. For a price, that is. Which can come in handy when you have plenty of coin and need something specific during your turn, with this continuing until you get defeated. Which after you get defeated, you can use the poker chips you've earned from every monster you beat to buy permanent upgrades that'll follow you throughout the rest of the game. So with these new permanent upgrades and a new strategy, you can try again, and keep repeating the cycle until you find a combination that works, or get enough permanent upgrades to push you to the end and beat the final monster. I'm a huge fan of roguelike games, and this one really caught me by surprise. I actually got my first experience of this game with the demo, and I fell in love with this concept and the way the game plays. The addictiveness of slot machines is in full effect as you keep spinning and trying to get the abilities you want and hope the RNG factor is in your favor. And the entire look of the game is something I love as well, with the whole game being this very simple screen focusing on the slot machine on the table, showing your rolls, the button for the machine, and then a screen attached to the slot machine. All the battles take place on that monochromatic screen, showing a pixel sprite of a monster with some really cool simplistic designs. There's something about the designs of the monsters that remind me of playing games on the original Game Boy. I think it might mostly come from the green and black color palette this screen has on the slot machine, and the pixel art design that these monsters all have. Along with the monster, you'll have a little bar showing their health, shield, as well as their upcoming action on the next turn. Then on the right side of the slot machine, you have your own health and shield. So you can keep watch of your shield and health, and use any extra items you gather between the monsters from the shop that can help keep you alive a little bit longer if needed. The slot machine is then surrounded by everything you'd expect to see on a bar table, from the cards, poker chips, drinks, and dice sitting on the table. The dice are another aspect of this game that's kind of always in the corner of the screen. Whenever you perform an action on a monster or they perform one on you, it shakes the whole table, which then can cause the dice to flip around. If they all flip to the same matching side, you get some bonus coins, which is a small little detail that doesn't affect much for the playthrough, but honestly, I find it to be a pretty fun addition whenever it pops up on the screen and I see more coins get added to the pile. And I love these small little extra bits of gameplay mechanics that get added to games like this. But don't think there's only chance at play here, as there's still plenty of strategy to be found. There's a good mix of different abilities to choose from, doing everything from flat damage to healing to respinning rolls and performing magic bonus damage. It's this nice range of different abilities you can choose from that pulled me into the game even further and kept me going, just one more try, I think I can beat it this time. I found my best mix. I have an attack that does a ranged damage based on my timing to hit, a healing spell that's also based on timing, the money bag that can drop a random number of coins, a large shield that gives me plenty of defense, and then a buzzsaw that does some flat damage and then respins a slot, allowing me to get an extra attack or extra healing into the mix as well whenever that comes up. This combination got me pretty far into the game, as part of what allowed me to make it to the end and beat the final boss. But there are a lot of different options you can use to meet whatever kind of playstyle fits you best. And here is where I was originally going to talk about one of the faults of the game I had in my opinion, which was using some of these combos to have the game essentially autoplay itself and beat whatever level you're on. But after writing my initial review for this game and before I could start recording, the game got a new update. And in this update, it added some new balances, but it added two new mechanics. First is the curse, which some enemies you come across can use. This will make one of the icons on your wheel no longer work, which makes it so you have to stock up on the wheel with some extra attacks or abilities to cover in case you run into this. The second is by far a bigger one in my opinion. where now each respin of the wheel, whether triggered by an item or an ability's conditions, will trigger an aggro meter. When this aggro meter gets filled up due to too many respins, your turn ends right there, and now it's the enemy's turn to go. These two things fix what I had considered to be one of the biggest faults the game had, which was it didn't give reason to explore all the different options and abilities you could equip. But with these changes, it now does force players to think outside of their strategy just a little bit more. With knowing that the curse could take away one of your attack options, you always had to have a backup in there. And just having something that's constantly respinning the wheel is just going to end your turn immediately and have the enemy go instead. And I love that this game is getting those kind of meaningful updates that players have mentioned. And I can't wait to see what further updates the developers have in store. Which is why I'm giving Slots and Daggers a 4 out of 5. Slots and Daggers is an addictive experience and a game I had a lot of fun playing. The different abilities and the RNG of the game kept me hooked and had me playing for quite a bit. Even after finishing the game, I came back to it a couple times to play some quick rounds and see what other combinations I could come up with using different abilities. And the fact that while I came back to it, I found new gameplay mechanics coming in already, especially ones that fix some of my initial concerns with the game, is amazing. It's a short game, coming in at about only 6 hours in length to play through the full campaign, but for the price on Steam, this is by far a bargain for the endless just one more quick game this has the potential for. But those are my thoughts on Slots and Dag, and I'm curious to know what you all think of the game. If you played it, do you agree with me, or did you have an entirely different experience? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this review and want to see more, click that like button and don't forget to subscribe. If you have suggestions for other games you think we should play, let us know as well. Until next time, this has been Brad with the Bickering Nerds.